Hi guys, so today I'm going to do my normal face routine of makeup, but I am going to also use the magnetic lashes, the M5. They're called Diamond. They're just by Magnetic Eyes. So I've used a lot of different face primers over the years. I haven't really found any ones that are really good for the skin that I like, that keep my face from being super oily. My face is normally really moist and oily as it is, but not super oily, but it's also not super dry as well. But one of the ones I found is this one. So it's a Primer Light. And it has some shine in it. I don't know if you can really see. Has some shimmer to it, which is super nice, just to open them up, because I do have a lot of redness on my skin. And a lot of the cosmetics that I'm going to use today, a lot of them are just store-bought, drugstore ones, not super high brand. Can't always afford the high brand makeup. So I got the concealer and Perfect. So it's a foundation and concealer in one. So it's a 2-in-1. And because I'm super light, I got the number 1. So it's just the creamy vanilla. And then I like to use my foundation brush that I have by NYX. So I just put normally about 3, because I like to try and do my neck as well to blend it in and just kind of dot it around. Try and avoid the hair. And once I kind of dot it around a little bit, I know that it spreads very well. So I will just use kind of like the excess from dotting around to do my neck. And I like to go kind of a little bit behind the ears just to make sure that it is all blended. And then just go around. Like I said, I have really red skin. I'm not really a fan of using the color correctors. So normally you would use like greens, or oranges or pinks to kind of take that color down. But because I don't really use a lot of blush and most of my redness is in my higher cheekbones, I just kind of leave it alone because I can kind of use that to my advantage later on. Oh. And just make sure it blends really well. And I like to do it up, like I have piercings here too, so I try and not get them too much, but I do like to try and get into there. I've seen some people who accidentally use like a shade or 2 darker and then their skin, and you can see that line right here because they kind of just stop. And then you have like super white ears, which isn't always the best. That's also why I like to go under the ears well. Make sure it's all good. Now I tend to use different concealers for underneath my eyes. It just kind of depends on the day or what I'm doing for that day. If I'm kind of, going out on a date or something, maybe I'll use this by MAC, which I will use this one today along with just my normal one that I have by Maybelline. So I normally use both of these together. As you can tell, they're a little bit different of shades. And then this one as well is just a corrector concealer. So I like to put, with this one, because it's a pump, I normally do about 1 dot. Sometimes a little bit more if I kind of don't spread it enough. And then you just kind of put it around. And now this one here is a lot more compact. So once you put it on your skin, you can kind of tell that it is something that is going to not clog up your pores, but take and actually take away, like even just right now, you can kind of see that it's taking away those bags underneath my eyes. All right. And then we'll use this one. So I kind of spread it out a little bit underneath my eyes, a little bit more than, you know, you normally probably would. And then I just put this one right on top. And then this is the one that I'll put underneath my chin and a little bit above. And I like to go along my jawline just because it works. Now you can do this 2 different ways. So a lot of people, you could probably do see them when they put their concealer on, they put their contouring on as well, which is perfectly fine so that you can kind of blend it a little bit better. Or sometimes they don't. That's when they just, you know, concealer and then around. And then sometimes you run into those like harsh lines because you couldn't blend it very well. So I will do my contour. So the one that I found for contouring the best for me personally so far has been this Wet n Wild Dual Ended Contouring Stick. Now I don't really use the concealer stick. It's actually broken. I actually bought it broken. Didn't know about that, but so sometimes I will use it. That one is more of like when I'm not wearing a lot of makeup or planning on wearing a lot of makeup, just because it is so white, and then it kind of blends in just with my natural skin tone. But then, you know, you have the other end, and it is the darker, and I believe, so this one's a light to medium, just because I am fairly light. And so I like to go around just because I kind of have a little bit more of a definition of my face. It's, you know, I do have high cheekbones. I have chubby cheeks. So I like to kind of make it one big section. And then we'll go down the nose. You do see some people who go above. I already have a pretty big nose as it is. And so I kind of want to make it a little bit smaller and not so prominent of the other features. And because I have my jawbone here, my chin bone, which has 2 little dents in it, I kind of like to fluctuate that a little bit more than some people do. You know, you'll see some people that go back here, which is fine, but I have such a prominent jawline that I don't need it. I just want my jaw to, my chin to stick out just a little bit more. And then I take a sponge. So this is just my NYX sponge. It comes with, sometimes it comes with some of the products. And then I also like to use this, my Milan Make It Last Matte. So the reason I use the matte finishing is because my skin is so oily. Now I'm putting liquid on, but this is gonna break that down a little bit so I don't have such a shine. I have used in the past the Maybelline Master Fix, which is great. I still use it every once in a while. It's kind of almost out. But that one more is not as well for my skin, just because my skin is very oily. I will use that one more in the wintertime because your skin is very dry in the wintertime. Now when it comes to summertime, you are sweating, you're perspirating. And so you want to use, something that's a little bit more of a matte. Now, if you have super dry skin all of the time, like if you're constantly putting on lotions and face creams, then yeah, you would want to stick with something that is more to that level, more of the matte side. So I just spray this on. And this is a finishing spray, but I've actually found out if you use it on your sponge, you kind of don't have to spray it all over later. And always do your lights first. Spread it all the way to the end. And this is the part that kind of gets a little confusing just because, you know, you have that brown, you're contouring on your nose. So you kind of want to go down, and then we'll work on underneath here. And now when you do underneath the eyes, I do suggest that you put it over top of your eyes as well on your eyelid. That way it kind of evens those tones out a little bit, and it also gives something for your eyeshadow to stick to. Now my camera isn't as good as I would like it to. I really definitely need to buy a new one. So if you see me looking up, it's because I have a mirror right behind you. And you just kind of dab it and push it around wherever it needs to go. And one of the things that I found when it comes to your concealer is you don't want to do it like you do your foundation where you're just pushing it. Because then you are going to have lines and it's just not going to turn out very well, and you're going to have to actually use more is what I've found. So I'll bring it back to the ear with my concealer. All right, now we're going to work on the brown. And the brown you do the same way, you're contouring, but up here on my hairline, I actually kind of push and go up, so up into my hairline, because you don't want to have, you know, a contouring line and then you can see the color and then you see your hair. You want it to go in to it. You want it to make it one look a little bit more natural. You don't want to have those harsh lines. And I use these ones here because I'm not a big fan of the super sharp lines that some people have. And so this one works, once I blend it in with my color, it gives a subtle, you see, subtle line difference, which is super nice. So then what I like to do, because that is all setting, I don't like to put my foundation on yet. Well, not my foundation, but my powder, my setting powder, or even my bronzer or my highlighter. I just don't like to. I like to use that as something to kind of push some of that other color away. From like your mascara, well, not your mascara, but your eyeshadow, and stuff like that. So it's just something that I kind of like to wait, because I also like this to set a little bit. It is a little tacky and it still will stay a little tacky, but it's a personal preference. So today, actually, we're going to use, this is going to be one of the two actual like real name brand things that I'll actually use today. So this is the Naked 2 palette by Urban Decay. You can see I use certain colors more often than not. I'm not a big fan of the brush just because it's just not a brush I really like. Oops, dropping things. So I like to, they're cheap and they're nice, but I really like the e.l.f. blending brush. So I use like the blending brush. I also use the e.l.f. crease brush. And then this is just one I got off of Amazon. It came free with something else. So it's just a flat brush. And that's really all I use. I use literally these 3 brushes every single day with my makeup. So my makeup is not always, isn't clean cut like some of the professionals that you see. Mine's just kind of, you know, an amateur mom who does her makeup. And so I'm going to use the Tease. I love the Tease just because I am super white. So it's this one right here. I'm just going to tap it off. You know, just dab it in there a couple times and then tap it off. And I blow it a little bit. And so this is going to go all around here, my main crease. So I normally use 2 to 3 colors. Sometimes just 2. And this is the one that I always use. This is just going to go in the crease and down. So I like to, my main part when I put it on is I go down here on the bottom because that's going to stay darker. And then just follow the lid up. And you're just making circle motions along with right and left motions. And then sometimes you can see it gets in here. You just kind of clean it up a little bit. And then and I don't bring it all the way down. I bring it to probably right where my eyelash is in. And do it to the other eye. And you want to try and keep them as even as possible. But because I have small, to me, I have super small eyelids, they're big this way, but I don't actually have like a real crease, I feel like. But they're small this way. I don't try and do like the half like some people do. I just leave it on the ends. Like, no means am I professional. I've never taken any classes. I would like to sometime, maybe eventually, but I just find that I like to look natural with my makeup, but look like I have makeup on, but not super glam. I mean, I love the way people do their makeups nowadays, but I just don't feel personally that is my style. It is a little too glam. I'm a country girl from, you know, small town, so I just stick with my small town things. But today I am going to use 3 colors for you just to show you. So I use the YDK one right here. YDK right there. And this one is the one I'm going to use the crease brush. I don't like using the crease brush, say that 10 times, but the crease brush to do this part. Just because I use the lighter color. So this is my background color. So I use the bigger blending brush. It's not really how it's supposed to go, but that's my preference. That is the best brush that I can find. So, and this one, I only put it like on the edge and a little bit up top, but not really. Now, if you get the upper, like as you can see right now. This one's a little bit lighter than this one, which is totally fine. People freak out, and they'll add more. So you'll try and, you know, add your base color, your background color is what I like to call it, which is your the medium of your color. So you have a light, a medium, and a dark color to use. And the medium one is the one I like to put on first. But people like to say, oh, well, my medium color is darker on this eye, so I need to add some. Well, then this one becomes darker, and then you just kind of keep going till eventually your medium color is your dark color. And then you kind of run into the fact of you make a decision. Am I going to just take it all off, or am I going to use a darker color? Well, I already used browns, so if I'm put my medium color too dark, I kind of run into the fact where I almost have to use black. And I'm not a big fan of black. I mean, unless I'm going to like a concert or something like that. Try and stay away from the black. So then I'm going to use this half naked, or half baked, not half naked one. So it's this gold color. Here. It's the one, as you can tell, I use a ton of all the time. It's like my go-to color. And then I'm just going to put it along here. This is the one I'm using that flat brush for. And I like to pat this one down just because it seems like it sticks better. And then you're just going to pull it over into your colors. But it will lighten these up a little bit. Let's see. And you want to try and keep it on your bottom lid and not go too much into your crease. But I do like to put it in this little section right here where, you know, you can tell that I stopped my medium color. All right. And then, because I'm not a big fan of having like a glittery-ish color, I will either do one or two options. I will either take my lid color, this light goldish color that I took, and kind of go up here, which kind of offsets all the colors and kind of blends them in perfectly for the most part. Or I will take just a plain old color, which this one is Foxy. So a lot of the times if I do if I'm going to try and make those harsh creases, or you know, I'm going out and I really want to make, like, try and do the glam makeup, I will actually use this as a base to make my colors darker. So that's one thing some people really don't really know a lot of, is that if you prime your eyes and then you don't put like a setting powder on, your color won't end up as dark. Kind of takes a little bit more color to go into them. But then that's also when you're gonna get those harsh creases sometimes. So you have to really watch out with some of those. That's why I don't really use a lot of primer on my eyes. I like to use my concealer. And so, all right, so you can see they're just, now I am going to do my eyebrows. So a lot of the time I don't do my eyebrows a lot, just because I don't know, I feel like a lot of the time I get them too dark, and I am super white and I have super light eyelashes. I've got like non-existent eyelashes, I feel like, but I do them sometimes to just even them out. So I have to use, well, the super lightest one, which this one doesn't even say which one it is. Oh, whatever. So I use two different ones to go in, just because these are natural. I don't pluck them, I don't shave them, I don't wax them. I just They're just my eyebrows. I've always had them. So I'm going to use this one, the Maybelline Brow Drama Crayon, along with the Maybelline Tattoo Studio. And does this have it on there? This one is a soft brown. So it's still a little darker, but it's really the closest color I could get. For the longest time, I'm not joking, for the longest time before I found these and really started using them and liking them, I was actually using either from the Naked 2 palette, the same color, the same color I used for my medium, which is this one right here, the Tease, to go into my eyebrows. It's a lot darker, but if you don't use so much, it doesn't, it was fine. It didn't make me look like a clown. Or I would use my CoverGirl Nudes palette, and I would just use this light blondish one right here, which is a lot lighter than that one. So like originally I was using that one, and then I moved to this one, and then I found these products here, and I love them. But I do like to use the crayon one first, and I just kind of lightly put it on there and draw lightly. Now, I've had some people tell me they don't like the crayon because it is super big, and when you're trying to get those, tight lines, but I've never found a problem with it because I just kind of use the side. I don't actually use it like a crayon and stick it down. So, okay. And then I like to go back through with this one. So this one here kind of has, I don't know if you can see, has points. So this one has like the lines. It's almost gone, but it has like it has 4 lines. And so kinda, this is the one I tend to just kind of go back through. It brushes it out, but then also gives it some definition of a line. And just follow my brow down. And then what I like to do is I kind of like to take my ring finger and kind of just massage it in so that it gets rid of harsh lines, but also kind of blends it into the brow. And it also helps from getting them too dark. Okay. And then what we'll do now is I like to put everything else on before I do my mascara, my eyelashes, and my eyeliner. It's just probably a personal preference. I've seen some other people do it that way. So it's just something that I like to do. Now, so I have 2 different ones that I like to use. So a lot of the time I will use the NYX non-filtered one. It's a finishing powder. This one is in porcelain because I'm super white. And then I have also my Studio Fix MAC, which is in an N4. So this one's a little bit darker than this one. So a lot of the time, this one will be kind of my go-to for quick summer looks, and I will do another video about that one. That one is just kind of point blank to the point kind of thing. But today I'm going to use this one, and then you just get your big brush. You buy it anywhere. This one just says power brush. I don't remember who it's from. I think it's just probably a cheapo from Walmart or something. I don't know. And just go around. And then I tend to just go over everything, honestly. Okay. And then, so this is going to be the second of the actual name brand cosmetics that I'm using. So this is also by Urban Decay. It's just the Naked palette. So it's the Eliminated Trio. So I broke it, but as you can see, it comes in this little box. Dropped it one day. So you got your bronzer, your illuminator, and your blush. And then, so this is just an angled blusher. It's an angled blusher. So it's just angled, as you can see. It's pretty big. I'm going to just dip it into the bronzer one. Just swirl it around a little bit, tap off the excess. And then I like to start at my cheekbones. And do my cheekbones and then do my temple. Just because I do have such a big face, I feel like, and I like to kind of make it a little bit more narrower, I feel like. So then I just go up, and then I tend to kind of just pull it up and do, not necessarily half the forehead, because I'll do this side too, but I don't want it to have kind of like this big old crease in the middle saying, oh, well, I went halfway, and then I went halfway, oh, that's not enough kind of thing. So I kind of just do it, but I just pull it up. And I don't like to have a lot on there. And then we'll just do the other side. And this is also another reason I don't do the super dark, harsh, prominent lines with the contouring stick, just because this palette here pulls out a lot more color and makes it. And I've tried to do that hard line, contouring deal, but then I feel like I can't put my bronzer on, and then it's like weird, and I don't know. It's just, like I said, a personal preference. And then you can just kind of scrunch it up a little bit and just do the sides of your nose. You can do the tip if you like, but I do like to put it like in these little areas right here, not like down, but just up in here, to give my nose a little bit more of elongated without showing that it's as big. It's kind of making this part here not as big and more long. And then also as well, as you remember, we put the contour, I put contouring here because I like to make that a little bit more prominent, because I have the line anyways, might as well use it. Okay. And then also what we do, you can buy a fan brush for your illuminator and all that. I choose not to. So what I actually do is remember about the pink. So you can still see how I have red. It's not as prominent, but there still is red underneath there. So I'm going to use both of these. So I kind of just, more of an illuminator, kind of a little bit of the blush. And I'm just going to put it right here on my cheeks. I don't make it so prominent where like you see a lot of people where it's, bronzer, blush, illuminator, and you can actually tell where they are and what they've done with them. I just don't, because I don't feel like I have a lot of space between my cheekbone and my eye. I feel like if I did it the way that they do it, I would either have to take my cheekbone down, which then is gonna give me more chubbier cheeks, which I'm not a fan of chubby cheeks. Well, I am, just not of me. And we'll just go on the forehead and down the nose and on the chin. And then you can always do it here as well. Okay. And then we're gonna do the eyes. So for the eyeliner, I like to use originally I was using the Maybelline Master Precise one, so it's a lot smaller, as you can see, but I don't feel like it was working as well. So I did find this one by NYX here. It's a lot bigger. It's a professional makeup. That's the point. So I always get it in the black eyeliner. I just like black eyeliner better than other colors. I feel like it works better for me. And as you can tell, it's a lot bigger. And so you're just going to start here where your medium color is and pull it down. See? In one smooth motion. And then pull it this way. And I don't recommend pushing hard because it is such a big brush. So just kind of lightly do it. And I know I'm using this and we're gonna use these magnetic eyelashes, so I will go over the cert between my eyelashes, but I like the wing better with this one. And you're just gonna do the other side. See, I'm also the person who can never get both eyes exactly the same. So I'm an amateur. I'm fine. I'm a mom of 2 children, a country girl most of the time. I don't tend to wear makeup anymore. I did back in high school, like every day I wore makeup. Like, I couldn't leave my house without wearing makeup. Now, I can, but I still love to wear makeup. I'm just not as good as it as some of these other people out here. Which I think at that point too is something I do get discouraged by on that is, you know, I see all these people doing just, you know, professional work. And it kind of discouraged me sometimes because I'm like, okay, well, like I can't do that type of makeup. But when I do wear makeup, I get a lot of compliments. So it's okay. So maybe I should label this video like country, quick and easy beginner makeup, I guess. Alright, so then because this stuff is really wet, I like to do this one first and then we'll put those on. Well, we'll put a little bit of mascara on and then we'll put those on. You get all up in this business right now. You see my nose. Actually, use this. And you want to go right over the line you had. Then I personally, just because I really don't have eyelashes, I don't have like a lot of them. Like you can see, there's really not a lot there, as I just got sweat on my hand. So I do like to use a little bit of mascara. So my favorite mascara that I really like, I've got 1,000 different ones that I really do like. But this is the one that I'm going to use today. Just Maybelline The Big Shot Tinted Primer. And you want to make sure when you're using the magnetic eyeliner that you try and keep it off of your actual eyelashes, because it does, I don't know how to really explain it, but it does put stuff on there and then it kind of gets your eyelashes to stick together. So if you've never used magnetic eyelashes before, they are different than regular ones for sure. You're still kind of using a glue. Your eyeliner, the magnetic eyeliner, is the glue. So it kind of acts like the same when it comes to your eyelashes when you get a hold of them. Let's see. So these are pretty thick. This is number 5. It's Lady Go Magnetic Eyelashes and Eyeliner. So it's called Diamond. And I always like to make sure, so one thing some people actually really don't know about eyelashes and everything is that there is one side that is shorter than the other, or not as curved as the other. So this, when it's shorter, or not as prominent, not as curly, that's actually your inside one. And they come in just this little case right here. Stick it on. Foam on that. And the one thing I don't like about these ones is because they are super big. I wish I would have gotten the littler ones where they're not so brown, but I still like them. They're just very big. And you don't have to really mess with them a lot, but you do need to make sure that you put enough of the eyeliner on it for them to stick to. And if you're really good about your eyeliner, you really don't need to even use a little tool that comes with it. As you can see, I didn't get enough on that one. Down at the bottom. Which is fine, because it's nice, because that's the one thing about magnetic eyeliner. You know, you can just easily take it off without pulling off all of the stuff, all of your eyeliner, all of the glue. So if you do tend to like mess up a little bit, it's okay. You can just go back and see, I'll even do it without the little bit. They look super nice. Oh, it's not sticking out. And like I said, these are super big, so I probably won't wear them all day. But they're also nice because I can easily pull them off. If I decide later on I don't want these on, I don't have to ruin my makeup. I can just take these off, add a little bit more mascara, and I'm good to go. And that's it. So I hope you like my video. Subscribe and keep watching. Thanks.